Welcome back, everybody, to Zero Access Footy, episode number 21. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining us once again. I am here with Behmmy, otherwise known as the Premiership Puller, and we have a lot to look at.
The jaws have shifted the shades.
Shut up! I don't know why he's on some train.
I love Borat.
You love a bit of Borat, but
King of the castle.
it's very unnecessary and not relevant to what we're saying at all here today because we've got a lot to look through, including the Round 18 review. Because a lot of, I guess, upsets, things that we didn't expect.
And some very wild
just
results.
Some wild stuff this week that I'm so excited to unpack. Let's have a look, though. Thursday night started off pretty predictable. We had the Blues being defeated by the Lions. 103-66, I believe, was the final score. And it's just feels like more of the same, unfortunately. It just comes across as, there's still way too many players on autopilot. It just feels like everyone, once the opposition kicks away, it becomes too tough for them. The only person that really looked to have stepped up, or two people actually, Paddy Cripps, Mark Pittonet. Anyone else?
That goal was bloody fabulous.
Oh, my God. At least the first quarter ended on a high note for him in that sense. Something to be excited about.
They get the one moment all game, and it's not even from the ruckman. That's a better one.
Yeah.
So,
anything else you can add to that? It's a bit of an uneventful one to start.
Not really. There's been a lot of talk of whether TDK should play out the year or not. And I think he should, partly because it can decrease his contract value. But no, realistically, he should play out the year. He's too talented not to. But it's also the fact that, it just isn't a good sign if he doesn't play out the rest of the year.
Yeah. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. It's not like he's saving anything. Obviously, for their sake, it's value. But he's already, if he was to stop playing now, he's probably going to be at the lowest value he's been at since he's been at the club, realistically.
The worse he plays, the worse it looks for us offering him that money.
Anyway,
so
exactly.
I need him to be good. Brisbane, though, had the Ainsworth injury.
That is a big
Achilles.
Oh,
really frustrating.
Someone mentioned over the call that it could have been an ankle. I'm like, that's a good sign. But then the clarification, was Achilles. And it's so, from the moment it happened and the minute you saw the replay, it's like classic Achilles, change of directions. That mechanism just pops. Apparently, lip readers heard him say, I felt it pop. So, from there, it's just, it's the worst feeling.
Yeah. I mean, for them, they're very lucky that they've been able to develop Fletcher in that sort of lockdown role with Starcevich being out at the start of the year, him now being back, and Ainsworth being out. It sort of just is a flip. So Starcevich would come in for Ainsworth compared to the start of the year team. So really good from them. But I thought the way they hunted, their pressure, they just didn't allow Carlton any space. And for a team that can't make decisions, not being able to have any time didn't help at all.
Well, that's the game plan at the moment to beat Carlton. It's just pressure. Make it relentless. Make it so that they have no space to breathe. But we'll move on to a much more exciting game. This one was so good because we get to make fun of our producer this week. Gold Coast beats Collingwood after, to be fair, a valiant effort to come back into the game that was eerily similar to the way it aired out last time, except the score wasn't as big this time around. So I think last time they played it ended up being 110-97. This time, 69-63, Gold Coast winning this one by a single goal. And of course, it couldn't have come off a better goal than the captain, Noah Anderson.
Brilliant.
Oh my God, moment of the week. That is the moment of the week. I saw it happen. I'm like, that is clean. Everything was going against him.
Is this spoiling Macca's man of the week?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It could. He had a fantastic game, don't get me wrong, but this one in particular was so good for Gold. They just needed it to really cement themselves as a finals contender. And I think they're pretty much 99% confirmed. They've got the game against a ridiculously injury-riddled Essendon side. The beating a team like Collingwood, obviously only two other teams have now done it.
Geelong and GWS.
Geelong, GWS. So, I mean, it's just the perfect outcome for them. Super strong. The only thing is you wish they hadn't have let them come back into the game. And you also
always
question...
expecting it, though. Always.
I did expect it because teams like Collingwood don't just die out. But you also think if Collingwood didn't have the crazy inaccuracy to start the game... Would this have been a different story? Yeah, absolutely. And it was looking to be that different story when they were making their massive comeback. They did take the lead.
Yeah.
And then the Ben Long goal. And then obviously the centre square one. Literally 1 minute of that final quarter just made up the whole second half collapse that they had. So that was a very, very much needed win for Gold Coast. I think just a fantastic night for Gold Coast footy as well, because Friday night, their first home Friday night game, and to do that is such a good result. Finally, it feels like Gold Coast are getting where they want to be.
Yeah.
They're seeing improvement.
They're still not tip of the top at the moment. They're not contenders, but for a young side, they're where they need to be with the talent on this list. For Collingwood, I'm still thinking with the experience on this list, could it potentially be a bit of an issue with their rest coming up? Obviously, they had Pendlebury as the sub, dropped Myercheck, rested Myercheck, and they're still waiting for Degoe to come back. There's a lot of players. Howe's now injured as well. How do they want to handle going about rest for the rest of the year? Because we've seen Geelong do it. They very strong on it, where they'll drop Selwood or they'll drop Dangerfield and just give them a week off. Are Collingwood still going to be able to do that with some of these injuries now starting to build up and not having a fully fit list? And I'm also still concerned about Dan Houston, because when you want to get Dacos into the midfield and you want to get him at his best, you bring in Houston. Do they still need him, is my question, because it seems like it's almost a panic buy, because he's not been very good this year.
Compared to his Port play.
Completely different player.
Yeah.
He's not being utilised the same way, which obviously has an effect, but I just think he is not being utilised to the point where he can excel in this team. And I just think that when you've got Josh Dacos playing off of halfback, you've got a couple others like Markov and all those filling in those positions, he's not really going to shine. And I just think there was no need to go and get him when you could have focused on another area like another key position player.
We'll move to the Western Bulldogs versus Adelaide now, and this one is a big topic point for us because of the fact that it's a narrative that now is impossible to ignore for the Western Bulldogs. Are we going to talk about it now? Or are we going to talk about it?
Straight into it.
Just jump straight into this chat, because this is yet another loss to a top 9 side. They have won against one other team in the top 9, and I can't remember who that is. Is it Freo? No, Freo, was it? Or was it GWS?
I'll check.
It was someone on the lower side of it all. But they are still yet to beat a top 9 side. And it makes you question, like, all this talent, right? It makes it feel like the contender...
GWS.
The contender take that I had last week with Cookson, it was very much short-sighted, and it was very much off of a vibe, which seemed to be the theme of that episode. But the Dogs just can't seem to get that scalp they're looking for. And, like, it's not even as if it was a bad game. This was Adelaide, who was sitting in the top 4, and they lost to them by, 11 points.
They were down by 40 points, though, in the last quarter. That's the thing.
There's big question marks about their whole game against these types of teams. And it makes you think, right, they're doing their job against the lower teams and getting that percentage boost, but why can they not pick off these big teams? Is there a genuine reason, or is it just teams are better than them?
There's been a lot of questions about their backline, and I have plenty of questions about it. I've got a bit that I'll get on soon, but in terms of their system and their game plan, their midfield gets it done almost every week. Their forward line gets it done pretty well. They are, I think, one of the best scoring teams in the league at the moment. However, when you look at their defense against the best 9 teams, they're averaging almost 100 points against a week against those teams. So their backline is clearly not getting it done. And I'll get into those numbers. So I've got it here in terms of the premiership defenses over the last 5 years and the height, because a lot of it's been involved that the Bulldogs simply aren't big enough down back to be able to match up. So Brisbane 2024, Harris Andrews 202, Jack Payne 197, Ryan Lester 192, and then Brandon Starcevich 187. 4 players that can do whatever role you need. Collingwood 2023, Darcy Moore 203, Nathan Murphy 192, Jeremy Howe 190, Braden Maynard 189. So 4 players. Geelong 2022, Sam De Koning 204, Jack Henry 194, Jade Collar-Jasny 195, Tom Stewart 190. 4 players. Melbourne 2021, Harrison Petty 197, Jake Lever 194, Stephen May 190, Mitch Hibbard or Michael Hibbard, 186. But then you got Trent Rivers, who's versatile enough at 188 to be able to play on a tall if you need. And then Richmond 2020, which I think is the best example. They're not super tall. David Asprey was their tallest at 195. Then you got Noah Bolter at 194, Dylan Grimes at 193, Nathan Broad at 192, and Nick Floston at 187. You've got 5 players out of a backline of 7 that are going to be able to match up on any tall and be able to do a job. Look at the Bulldogs. It's Lobb at 206, James O'Donnell at 197, and then you got Nick Caulfield at 191, Bailey Williams at 190. Nick Caulfield is more of a 4th defender. They're playing him as a 3rd, so he's got to step up. That means Bailey Williams, who's been played on the wing for majority of his career, has to become a 4th defender, which he is simply not. And then you got Bailey Dale as the halfback, which is your 5th tallest defender. That's fine. Bring in Buku Karmas. That puts Caulfield down a roll. That puts Bailey Williams down a roll. It allows Bailey Dale to not have to play on potentially a best defender or best small forward. Lockie Bramble can also be unleashed a bit more, who's their 7th defender. It matches up a lot better because when you've got Nick Caulfield against Darcy Fogarty, he can't go with him physically. And then if you can't put him on him physically, maybe you put him on Tex Walker, also can't go with him physically. And the gap for him to go to Riley Thilthorpe is way too big. Put Buku Karmas in. Buku can go to Walker or he could go to Fogarty. If you want to switch it, James O'Donnell goes to Fogarty or Walker, whichever. And you got to stay with Lobb on Thilthorpe because no one else can go with him.
Did you think that Buku was the answer for this game? If he had been playing, do you reckon they would have been able to put him over the edge? It wouldn't
have hurt. I can't see where it wouldn't have hurt them. You look at their forward line. They've obviously got Darcy and Norton. Both were good. I thought Norton was fantastic. Like the way he started the game, he was a house on fire.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous, right? Didn't really get near it for the rest of the game. And I thought with Butt out due to a punctured lung, maybe you could capitalise. But I just think it all stems with their defense. Are you willing as a team to give up a goal offensively to be able to focus more defensively? Because you give up 1 goal, you're still arguably the best offensive team in the league. But you get another goal defensively, you go from 13th to 7th or 6th. That's a huge jump defensively compared to the slight drawback offensively. Yeah. And I think if you do that, you go from 1st to 3rd offensively, but you jump from 13th to 6th defensively, you're a much more well-rounded team and you can completely challenge. A team sitting 13th defensively cannot win the flag. And that is their key position that they need to focus on.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a big matchup thing for sure because with the back lineup that they had in this game, I think it could work against some teams. I think with Rory Lobb being such a defensive anchor that he is, especially with the way he's been playing, I think this year, he definitely could be, he can continue to be that main guy and then have people around him who can deliver the ball, obviously play those one-on-one matchups. But like when you're coming up against Adelaide, you need those bigger bodies. So I think Buku Karmas is a very, very good point out there.
I don't think it's even simply against the Adelaide team. So they're coming up against Brisbane this week. They played 2 rucks. You're going to have Nick Caulfield on Logan Morris. That's cookies right there for Logan Morris. Then you've got Essendon. They've got key position worries everywhere, so you can't really go much into that game. They've then got the Giants. You got Cadman, who is in the form of his life right now. You've got Hogan, who is going to be insanely difficult to stop with James O'Donnell. And then you've got Jake Riccardi and Callum Brown.
Yeah.
You've got Bailey
and then
Williams
Toby
and Callum
Green
Brown.
is sneaky strong too.
He's another one that you're going to almost have to use a key position player on. Like, there's not as simple options as just relying on those 2 players because they've only got 2 keys at the moment. You need a 3rd medium defender. You can't last with 1 key forward, which is something I'll bring up for Hawthorn soon about their key forwards, but you cannot rely on just 2 talls and then no mediums. It does not work. You need that versatility.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how they continue to change things up as they play against more top 9 sides as the season comes to the end. But right now they are the 9th side. So they are sitting on the outside.
And a game out
Freo, Freo have taken the chance that they got against Hawthorn and have used it to push them out of that.
And it doesn't get any easier against the Lions this week. They could be 2 games outside the 8 by the end of this week, even with an easy draw.
Scary stuff for the Dogs. But
quickly touch on Adelaide. I still don't trust their forward line against the best defenses. We just talked about how poor Bulldogs is.
Yeah.
And they torched them, absolutely. I'm still not confident they can do it against the best. We'll need to see because against the best, their forward line has struggled.
Who is the best defense right now, statistically?
Collingwood, I still believe.
Collingwood, okay. That's interesting because they're currently dealing with Howe's out.
Howe's out. I think Collingwood and Brisbane are like a point difference against the best teams defensively. So they'll get a real showing this week.
That'll be really nice to watch if we do get to see a matchup like that again.
Yeah.
GWS versus Geelong now. This is just a fantastic GWS game. I did not see this type of GWS game coming. They are just notoriously, for some reason, bad at NG. You could not tell that with this game. I think the only team I've seen them play well against at NG was Collingwood. Every single time, for some reason, they beat Collingwood, but they'd lose to other teams at NG. Like, they nearly lost to Richmond there. I'm like, okay, there's clearly something happening here. But Cadman, 6 goals in the second half. All in the second half. Ridiculous second half performance from that man. Bang, bang, bang. 4 in a row, I think he had at some point.
That's ridiculous.
Like 5 out of, like,
Jesus.
I think with the separation of one Geelong goal, it'd be 5 of GWS's goals in a row. The dude had just a moment where it clicked for him. Stringer as well put in some, I think, 4 goals of his own. You look around the ground as well. Toby Green had a couple in there too. This was just a full GWS masterclass, and it couldn't have happened against a better team because you're watching Smith's kicking really hurt him in this game. Bailey Smith's kicking really hurt him. Cameron was sore, so only the 1 goal from him. And I'm sure GWS fans felt great about him only getting 1 against these boys. The kid with a lid with 2 goals as well to add in on top of all of that. Oh, just
Kid with
everything you wanted from
Kid
GWS.
with a lid did not kick 2 goals.
He didn't? I thought he had 2.
Just the 1.
Just the
15
one.
touches on a goal.
Okay, I thought he had 2. Oh, well. Still, fantastic from him. He was
Still
everywhere.
very
Did so many good things and just... Oh, there were so many opportunities that he had where he'd just have space to run. And watching him run is so exciting because it's like no one else can keep up with that man.
Well, they can't. They literally can't because
no one can.
Their ball movement from stoppage is ridiculous. They provide their forwards so much space. You wonder why Hogan's such a good forward in their system. It's because he gets so much space to be able to work in a one-on-one situation. It's why Cadman ended up kicking 6 second-half goals because he was ridiculous in so much space. Like, it's an issue I have with Geelong right now. I talked about a few weeks ago that their backline still just isn't getting it done, even with the personnel they have there and the talent behind the ball. But just GWS from stoppage are unparalleled with their ball movement. Like, their handball game, Geelong don't want to get handballs out of a stoppage, which is where they're going to look in the offseason to get a stopper because as good as Tom Atkins has been this year, he's not talented enough to get it done all by himself. But Jesus, it's just so good to watch from GWS. Lockie Whitfield in his 250th was fantastic.
Yep.
He's one of those. Finn Callahan, ever since he got back, just been... he's so quick and he's so big that it's so hard to stop. Smaller plays, if they're quick, you can sort of try stop them.
You can be a bit more physical with them. You can get away with the physicality. But
such a big body. It's so difficult to stop him.
He's got a bit of bont in him. He's got a bit of bont. And then they've got Fonty as well. Fonty was quite nice in this game. Yeah, the Fonty and the Bonty. Oh. I'm so glad all these Bont... It feels like Bont clones are becoming so sought after. Yeah, especially with GWS. It feels like they've got so many of them.
Mateus Philippou, baby Bont.
Oh,
Joel Frazier, baby Bont. It's the new term.
Lots of baby Bonts. But next... Oh, my God.
Stinker?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about this game. Can we cue it, please, Mr. Producer? This was everything I wanted to be. Shout out 3RW for the idea. This was amazing. Everything that you wanted from a clown show. And look, I'll start off by saying this was purely because of injuries. Both sides, from suspensions to injuries, had been dealing with so much. This is so good. Second quarter highlights. Just have a look at the second quarter highlights because they are highlights for sure.
Shit. It's just that mark. So ridiculous.
I listened to the radio call of the second
Why have
quarter.
we got a kick that's gone 30 metres and hasn't even hit the target? Yeah, Luke Trader took a cool one-handed mark. Elmer Fudd's kicking the ball 50 metres. He barely took a mark. This was... I got convinced to go to this game with some uni mates. I was literally on my phone playing Clash Royale more than I was watching the game between the second and third. First quarter was actually kind of enjoyable.
Yes.
3 goals each, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We didn't see a goal for like 70 minutes of game time.
Yeah, so that one in particular. 53 minutes between Essendon's third goal and their fourth goal. 10 seconds off of an hour between Richmond's third and fourth goal. Oh my God.
Jesus.
I could not believe what I was watching. We nearly went 2 quarters with scoreless quarters from both sides. That was unreal.
It was
unreal. And then the fourth quarter was a clown show of its own. I wonder if there was a way of counting this stat, I would have gone straight to useless AFL stats and said, when's the last time there have been 2 fresh airy kicks from the goal square by one team? Nate Caddy and Isaac Kako. Look, they're both young blokes, but Caddy is so much better than this. I'm sorry. He's so much... Look at this. Pick the ball up. How does that happen? How do you not have the foresight to know you've got that much space to pick the ball and kick? It's just so much that went wrong. Another stat being both Essendon and Richmond at one point had under 10% in terms of goals to inside 50s.
Up until the last quarter, Essendon had it for the entire game.
I think Essendon finished with 7%, right? And then Richmond had 13%. As they started to kick away. Beautiful goal from Hopper. One rare piece of skill. But like it just kept happening. And you'll see my favourite one comes up very, very soon on this. So keep looking on the wide angle. But it's on Richmond's side. We'll know when it happens. Oh my God. It's like every time you thought every time you thought it'd get worse, that was as bad as it would get. It somehow got worse. Caddy just so many opportunities, a load of inside 50 targets for the guy. It felt like, and just nothing was working for him. He's been so good in previous games, and in this one, not much. Taj Houghton was very good.
He's my man.
He was great in this one.
He's going
honestly, with the way this game went, he could have got Brownlow votes.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the 3 in his first ever game. It's ridiculous. Like the amount of VFL players in this game is actually kind of crazy. Like, I could name probably 20 players that you would think are just random VFL players that just should not be in this team. So.
Very un-AFL like. That is 100% the way you put it.
Very Brad Scott-esque.
That makes me happy to hear. Inside 50 efficiency. Average for both teams is about 45%. Richmond at 32.6. Oh, there it is! Al, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? But yeah, 32.6% for Richmond. 29.1 for Essendon. This was just and then the Kako. Oh!
It doesn't even look like he's gone for it. It looks like he's just not
ran
even
right past.
Yeah.
Oh.
So ridiculous.
There's so much
and
that I could laugh at for this one.
It gets worse for Essendon. Setterfield's done for 6 to 9 months. And
Martin's
done
Nick
for
Martin,
his ACL as well.
Yeah, they're done.
Crazy.
It's just the worst possible timeline for both these clubs.
Outside
of
rebuilt.
Richmond coming out with a win.
Yeah, should have tanked when I told them to tank.
It doesn't matter. They've got some good picks now.
Yeah, well, they could have had even better picks.
Who knows? Honestly, you can't really think about it in that way. They've got 2 really good picks it's going to end up looking like. But nonetheless, what a game.
What a stinker.
What a game. 6 goals to 4. More than half the score, I believe, for both sides. Maybe not Richmond. Maybe it was closer to, but definitely for Essendon. Happened in the first quarter. There's too. My brain cannot compute.
Let's go ahead.
My brain cannot compute this, and I'm going to make it an early call. They are both donkeys of the week. Maybe not so Richmond. Maybe I'll give it mostly to Essendon. But can we not? Can I not give it to them?
They are officially the donkeys of the year because they've had 2 full games where they are the donkey of the week.
That is so donkey-esque.
Yes,
so much donkey in this game. So
very much so.
much donkey. But let's move on to some AFL football now. Fremantle taking the win over the Hawks. We talked about this with the Bulldogs game as well. Fremantle have gotten themselves out of the back seat when it comes to the finals race. Definitely. With this win. Fantastic stuff. And I think while TDK's value has never been lower, Sam Darcy's has never been higher. I feel like he actually played a decent game in this one compared to the situation that he's been in throughout the year. He kicked a goal to give him a lead, I'm pretty sure.
Well done. He kicked the goal.
No, but to give him the lead, he stood up. He played very well. I think he played really well despite how much people have been saying bad things about him. And for good reason. I think Luke Jackson, we all know, is the number 1.
Me included.
But just fantastic from Fremantle. So good with the pressure. They fought so hard all game.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the questions probably lie on Hawthorn.
After this one, yes. I think offensively their structure was deplorable. Like the amount of times in that, It was 5-0 in the last quarter in terms of goals, all to Fremantle. And the forward structure was just nowhere. They just bomb it out. And the reason why it was like 10-1 free kicks in the last quarter is all because they were like 5 of them were deliberate.
Yep.
Because they were just kicking to space. There was no one there. And I think the reason for that is due to Kalshadir coming back, not necessarily early, but I just think with the form he was in the back end of last year, it was very much just a good run of form, a lot of momentum in a really, really high-performing team. And I don't think it was sustainable, and we've seen that to the start of this year with the 2 games he has played. He was really poor up at Gold Coast, understandable, hard conditions, really physical team. But I think for Hawthorn, we've seen their best this year playing 2 tours in Ramsden and Chol, and then the 1 medium in Gunston. The worst we've seen Hawthorn is when they've gone Chol is the only key, and then Gunston and Deer, or just Gunston and someone else.
It's so clear that Chol cannot be a main target inside the forward line. He needs some pressure relieved off of him, and that is with
Mitch Lewis.
Yeah.
I talked about it last week. The only way Hawthorn become contenders is if Mitch Lewis is fully healthy. We know how good they are with Will Day. We haven't yet seen how good they can be with Mitch Lewis. And I think when you talk about a key forward, he can crash backs, but he can also be hit up on lead. He's a very good set shot kick. He's had 3 straight weeks of performances in the VFL that can warrant selection. I think it's time to bring him in. And it's unfortunate for Deer because you look at the form Gunston's in, you cannot drop him.
No.
Eventually, it will probably be Deer in that Gunston role, but it's just not quite that yet. It's not quite there for him yet. That's the answer for Hawthorn. It is Mitch Lewis. And I also thought with what we've seen for Sarong being tagged, bringing in McGuinness as the sub was very questionable. I just think he's trying to play too much a little bit.
They didn't tag either Brayshaw or Sarong, and I was very surprised by that because the tag was very effective on Sarong last week with Sydney.
Yeah.
North Melbourne versus Melbourne.
Yeah, you can lead this one.
This team loves to disappoint me, it feels like. It was a fairly decent battle, to be fair, but then it just broke out, I think in the 3rd or the 4th, sometime in the second half. But there's always, every time without failure, 10 to 15 minutes of putrid football from this club. And I don't know what it's going to take to get not even a full 4-quarter performance, just a 4-quarter performance that doesn't involve just an awful period of play. I know that the ebb and flow of games is always going to make it so that it's very hard to play a full 4-quarter performance unless you are just that much better than your opponent. But I felt like we are not at the point that we should be letting teams like Melbourne, who we beat earlier this year by 59, get that far ahead of us in terms of skill, in terms of cleanliness with the ball. That stuff just frustrates me. The positive, Cooper Harvey looks a lot better than I expected him to be. 4 goals is a fantastic outcome from the man. That is a fantastic little look. And hopefully another little piece to add to the future.
Yeah.
God, it's so good that it's Brent Harvey's son. I'm so glad that he looks
another father-son.
Yes! I'm so glad it looks like he has improved so much. He kicked 4 on the weekend. Fantastic start to the game. I think he missed an opportunity to make it 5 really early on. I think he missed a wide open goal, but comes stuff that you kind of have to expect and have to kind of live with when it's a 5-game player. They're going to miss opportunities like that. It just happens. But 4 goals, fantastic output from the man. I just wish, and I think it's all defensively. It's all defensively for us. It just feels like we break down so easily.
You are the 2nd worst defensive side this year by 15 points, only behind West Coast. And you were the worst last year.
Yep.
And so when you got the Clarko cluster not working, see you, Clarko.
I don't even know if it's Clarkson, though. I think it's personnel.
Oh, it's a lot of system. You cannot defend scoring.
I think there is a bit of system. Don't get me wrong. I think there's way too many times where teams transition so easily on us, and it's because our structure is so poor up the ground. But at the same time, the way we can kick goals now, going forward and attacking, that's what made the Clarko cluster so good. Because defensively, you trapped them in, and then you went hard. You went.
What was your backline this week? Because I saw
Toby
Comben, I saw Logue, I saw Pink, and I saw Will Dawson.
Will Dawson is one that I'm very concerned about. I think there's good things to his game. I think there's things he can add, but just unfortunately reminds me of a Callan Dawson as well, which is very unfortunate because Callan Dawson I think also has good things, but just too often will be a bit too a bit too lackluster on his skills. And again, it's just young guys. It's young guys. You can't expect them to be perfect with the ball, but no one seems to be perfect with the ball at the moment. It just, Colby has become one of our best players now. I think Colby McKerchoff, that halfback line, is really doing well. Yep. But I think Dylan Alexander has mentioned it before. It's still his grittiness and his physicality that's his big problem. He will let players go way too easily. He can't really stick a tackle, which sucks. But we just have to keep working through what the positives and working through the good stuff. Again, Cooper Harvey, that's the one that I think North have to look at. And look, it could have been a lot worse. It really could have. It just, that should have been a win. That had to be one that we circled and went win, because we come up against a really good Sydney squad at the moment at the SCG. That one is going to be a tough one, and it's going to be hard to win that one. But Melbourne, on the other hand, I look at that game and go, the difference in effort and belief between their last battle against North and this one is levels above. So much better for Melbourne this time around, and a lot to really look at and go, yeah, there's still stuff here. While the start was deplorable to the season, we've looked a lot better. Could we have made a finals push? Maybe. Honestly, I think they would have sat in that 10th spot if they hadn't have had that.
They're clearly not a top 9 team.
They're not a top 9 team, but I think they would have been
Sydney either. So
yeah, that is true. 11 probably seemed, if they had played the way they're playing now from the start of the season, I think they'd be sitting 11th.
Yeah.
But it's honestly just bad news for Essendon in that one.
Yeah, and then the only question for Melbourne to persist with is, with some of their experienced players still being able to be decent, do they want to rebuild, or do they want to properly retool this list with a couple of those experienced players staying on, or do they trade them all out? Probably the best game of the round, I'd argue, though, was St Kilda Sydney.
Yeah, you could say that.
I think in terms of the
I think Gold Coast Collingwood still is better.
Yeah, I think in terms of the actual output, though, this one,
you can.
In terms of the watch, would have been a bit better. A lot of back and forth. Sydney started like a house on fire. They kicked 3 goals in a minute. Pretty much all of them were Taru's fault, but I'll take the good with the bad. And then St Kilda controlled the game for 2 quarters, and then the last Swans just were unrelenting in their pressure. They just wouldn't stop. And the way they move the ball is very dependent on how they win, because first quarter, hitting targets, low darts everywhere. They were able to shift the Saints zone, and they're able to get over the back as well. Second and third quarters, we stopped them completely. And then in the fourth quarter, they started moving the ball. They went short. They went really quick as well. They weren't getting back off the mark. They just hit a target. And they were low. They were flat kicks because they got so many good kickers in their team. And that's what got them back in the game. And then you obviously had the Grundy tap to Goulden to be able to win the game.
Yep.
Reminded me very much of the Paddy Ryder tap to Jack Billings in 2022 against Geelong.
I can't
in
believe,
the exact same spot.
Yeah, you showed me. I can't believe that was what was burned into your mind when that happened.
Literally spot on. Like, it is identical.
Yeah.
If you want to find that clip, you can find it. But literally the exact same play. But for Sydney, yeah, that play won them the game. I don't think they were great, but they just need to continue.
They did what they needed to do.
They very happy with how they were able to get the win in the end and keep winning against North Melbourne, and they could very well push for finals.
Yeah, shout out Brodie Grundy, having a fantastic season.
Dominated Marshall.
Yeah. Port Adelaide versus West Coast. Now, this was a very interesting one. I want to move through it quickly because we've talked a lot through the games, but this was a very unexpected game style from West Coast, because West Coast have very much been a, bomb-it long team. They don't really have the personnel to kick the ball and be precise with their play, but they tried that against Port Adelaide in some wet conditions, and it was working. It was working in that first half. They played fantastic football.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe how well they were playing, because this stat's interesting. Best first quarter for the Eagles since 2021.
They almost made finals in 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a well, obviously COVID kind of wrecked them during that time. Yeah. So this team, I think, is due for a win in the next 5 rounds. And obviously at the end of this episode, we'll go and talk a bit about what their next matchup's going to be like, because I think that one is really going to be telling of how they've improved over the season. But yeah, just a noticeable switch in their play. But Port Adelaide, definitely some scary things. They had a lot of touches. They were getting a lot of plays going well. I think Horn Francis was the big one.
27,
the big missing
goals.
Yeah, but the big missing part in their first quarter, which is why they pulled it back, because he started to really bring it back in those last 3. But Butters was great. Rosé would have been great. Unfortunately, went out injured.
Yes.
Georgiades had an almost great game from what it looks like you've written here.
Had like 10 set shots and almost kicked 8 goals.
Yeah.
Basically, like he could have absolutely torn this game apart.
Georgiades is a sneaky good. He could be
He's
a
all
sneaky
Australian
future Coleman. Sneaky future Coleman for that man, I reckon. I want to look at his trends because he could be my pick for next year.
AFL, I'll check it because he was top 3, I believe. He's currently 2nd in the Coleman medal.
Yeah, that is. He has been sneaky. Cameron will probably win it, but that man, he's going to have some. The future forward race is looking so exciting. Darcy, Cadman now really shining. Phil Thorpe,
Neil,
Georgiades, Shannon Neal. Yeah, so many future. And then you think of the ones right now. Ben King still doing well. Cameron, I think this could be his last year of contention, but obviously that's just speculation. Hopefully, lucky. There's still so many great.
Where's Max King?
Yeah, Max King. Sorry, Saints fan. Unlucky, mate.
Yeah,
But I've said my donkey of the week. I'm going to go to Macca's man of the week. Of course, we've got the 3 votes per my first vote. Look at me go. So excited. My first vote is going to, we mentioned him just before, Riley Thilthorpe. 6 goals in a game against the Western Bulldogs side that were looking to really make a statement. That is how you shut it down. A fantastic game from him. 6 goals, of course, a bit of help alongside with the Fogarty goal.
Yep.
I think Texas kicked 1 or 2, so did have a bit of help in there. But it all was headlined by Riley Thilthorpe, and I thought with the fact that this could have been a game that really messed up their season, he showed up at the perfect time, and that's fantastic stuff from Thilthorpe. But the other noticeable 6-goal game from Aaron Cadman, I think this is my 2nd time giving him high votes, but he's earned it. That was a fantastic second half against the Geelong side. That's the reason I put him higher. Geelong is a tough outfit to come up against, and putting 6 goals up that quickly against that side is fantastic. I've been so high on praise for Connor O'Sullivan this year, but he ate him alive. Fantastic stuff from Cadman. And then for me, 3 votes is a non-negotiable. Noah Anderson.
I did call it.
You did call it. Stepped up so much during this round and against the team that they needed him the most.
Yeah.
The deciding kick of the game, all over the ground. Stepped up when Took went down. Wow. Wow. What a way to... I wouldn't say he's capped it just yet, but this is his inaugural captain season. What a season it's been for him so far.
Yeah.
Well earned 3 votes for the man.
Arguably Coleman medal leader.
Arguably. I think Coleman's... Sorry, not Coleman. Brownlow. Really, really, really good debate point. I think when we get to the end of the season, we have a little look at our Brownlow predictions because that could be so good to look at. But that is Macca's Man of the Week. Let's have a look now at Behmy's Tribunal Tasks.
Behmy's Tribunal Tasks. Yes, King of the Castle.
Borat theme is going off this episode.
Q2, Zach Bailey, bump on Nick Haynes. This was a very interesting one. He's got 1 week. Greatest careless conduct, medium impact, high contact. The actual bump looked fine until you watch the replay where it is head knocks that got the high contact. You make a play to bump, you have created contact, you have initiated it, and you have basically forced high contact.
Yeah.
1 week, perfectly fine with that. You initiated the contact, you did not provide a duty of care to Nick Haynes. He then received head high contact, 1 week suspension.
And they have challenged it.
They have. I don't think they'll get off, though, because he initiated the contact and he got a head knock. Adam Cerra, umpire contact. There was some Carlton fans arguing that Lachie Neale pushed him into it. He very much did not. Cerra just walked straight into the umpire. Unfortunately, he's not looking at the ball. He wasn't wanting to make contact.
Yeah, I was going to say, it honestly looks as if he's so locked into making sure that Lachie Neale doesn't get away, that if he gets he's walking into the line, because the umpires have been told now, make sure your line is straight as you're exiting. And it looks like he does so. Obviously, the angle of the camera could make it look like he's going a little bit left, but even then, he's going out of the way of where those guys are. Yeah. So the onus is on Cerra, but it is accidental, but... I think that's kind of been the AFL over these last couple of weeks, really. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's accidental. You've got to make sure that you do not get any contact with the umpire.
I think this one will probably be a $5,000 or $6,000 fine. I don't think it's suspendable because it's not like a row where he is targeting the umpire as a shield or as a screen to be able to get around. So I think this one is just a heavy fine. I don't think they suspend him. But again, it's not a great look. And he is the first player to go to the tribunal. We do have the cherry hit now on Tom Sparrow. Really, really innocuous one. This is a really difficult one to grade. I was watching First Crack last night. Jay Clark graded this as 3 weeks. From that, it'd be careless conduct, severe impact, and high contact. That's what the grading would be for 3 weeks. Haven't seen it yet because we're recording this before on Monday.
Ridiculously innocuous because, like, it's a quick glancing blow and he is
super quick.
Out.
He's out before he hits the ground.
Bugger.
Kane Corns was arguing that you've got to see this in real time, not in slow motion. The way I want to look at it is, if you want to make the argument that he's trying to tackle, okay. So then let's look at Cherry's body positioning and how he goes about it. Sticks an arm out, his left arm, and what does he do after that? He just walks straight past. He's not looking at the player to make a tackle. And unfortunately, sort of, Sparrow is leaning forward to where the contact is slightly higher than what it would originally be. But if Cherry was going for an actual tackle to make an attempt on the player, he would wrap himself around and he would have been swung around. He wouldn't have just had an arm like this. It would have been a sling tackle, basically, in the end, not a strike. So this is very much intentional strike, not an attempt at a tackle. It's very quick and it's very innocuous, but it is still a strike. And that is where I see this being 3 weeks. Arguably more, because he should not have done this.
Yeah.
If he was making a tackle, attempt at least, then sure. But he's very clearly not.
It's very lazy from him too.
Very lazy.
He's probably going to get at least a week. And with that being said, probably a last comment here. If you have a super coach team, put Brody Grundy in.
Yeah, 100%. The one thing I do want to say with it is he's not even looking. He's just going straight past with his hand out when he makes contact.
Yep.
Afterwards is when he looked. So that is why I don't think it is acceptable. The last one is Max Heath.
Oh, not your boy.
Yeah, the debutant. If he gets a week for this, I'm rioting. Because if you look, eyes on the ball, makes an attempt to go out. And unfortunately, he just has Tom McCartan running in front of him.
That cannot be a suspension. No way.
For whatever reason, the Sydney players went at him, which
because he goes down and it's one of his players. Yeah, it's just
at the
the
same
usual
time.
thing.
I don't get it. Like Nick Blakey, what are you doing, mate? He had a shit
but
game.
for Blakey, it looks like he's gone out.
Yeah.
And it's the same. It'd be the same reaction for any team. If you see one of your players going out because of contact from the other team, it doesn't matter how it goes. You go after him. But yeah, it is so unintentional, ridiculously You see him go, and then McCartan just comes straight through. It's like the same saying for when your forwards come through. When your forwards are coming through, you do not get in their path. Obviously, it's different if you're the defender of that player, but like that is just McCartan trying to do his job. He's trying to do his job. Incidental contact. No way that gets suspended. I really hope not, at least.
That wraps up Behmy's tribunal tasks.
Next, we've got a bit of frustrating news because this is stuff that it all comes from sports betting. And look, I'm one to have an occasional punt. Don't get me wrong. And
I had a good weekend with my punting.
I have an occasional punt, and I've been more into it as of recent. But obviously, it comes down to safe, gamble responsibly, all the usual stuff that you should be being told, both online from anyone that you watch. When it comes to stuff, be very careful. This is what happens when you take it way too seriously. When you put probably $500 on Naz getting 40,
or you're just a vile human being in the first place.
Yeah, very true. But this comes from messages that both Naz and Jace Burgoyne received over through Instagram. I believe one of them got it through a throwaway account, so one is a coward as well. So just disgusting stuff. 24 touch. Yeah, it's so obvious that this is a man who's put way too much on a multi, and for some reason started abusing players online. It's just very stupid,
horrible,
very dumb,
horrible.
It's stuff that it doesn't matter what the reasoning is to why they posted it on the Instagram. It's good that they put this stuff out to light because it should hopefully stop people from doing it in the future. This stuff's disgusting. If you're a person who thinks this stuff is justified, please don't watch our stuff. Please don't watch our stuff because you're going to get some abuse every single week from us. I don't understand what the thinking is with this stuff. That clearly people around them are telling them this is okay. And if you're one of those people, reconsider your actions.
Seek help.
Seek
Seriously.
help. Seek help.
What are you doing with
Absolutely.
your life? And that also leads to the Jack Graham incident that occurred
That's a
last week.
good segue. I like that.
Stop complimenting the segues and just go with it, mate.
Yeah, well,
it's not
I'm
difficult.
just saying it. Just pointing it out, giving you credit.
So last week, we actually came out on Friday. I believe it was Friday. Maybe it was Saturday. Can't remember. Jack Graham self-reported saying some homophobic slurs towards a GWS player. We don't know if it was specifically to one player, to multiple. We don't know if it was said indirectly or directly to a player. We're not sure. But self-reported, got 4 week suspension. Okay, suspension, fine. My only query is why is it 4 weeks? Is it just because he's self-reported? Because Taylor Walker got 6 weeks for a racist comment. Lance Collard got 6 weeks for a homophobic comment. Why is there a difference? I have no idea. That's the only thing I have.
Yeah, that's my only thinking as well.
What an absolute tool to be saying that in the middle of a game.
Yeah. Again, the only positive is that he seems to understand that what he said was not acceptable.
Yeah, well, he would have come out with that on a Monday rather than on a Friday. Someone probably threatened him saying, I'll release this if you don't come up with it. Like,
there's a chance.
That's the only reason, and he's branded it as self-reporting.
Yeah.
I'm not don't like him anymore. I never liked him in the first place.
I never had an opinion on the man, but yeah, definitely very not good.
Yeah.
Going around using that stuff and hurling it out as an insult is a whole other thing as well. It's just disgusting. But
why have we got good photos, Ethan?
You think those are good photos?
They're not dog shit photos.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting. There's a specific photo that I'm waiting to show up. I know it's going to happen. I know there's a photo that's going to pop up, and I think he knows which one I'm talking about. But we have done this twice before, and now we get to do it for the third time. We have got our power rankings, our round 18 power rankings. We've done this in round 6. We've done this in round 12. I don't have my round 12 ones up, so I can't tell the changes. But nonetheless, we know how we're going to go about this time. We're going to speed through the bottom 10 sides. That is not the one I was thinking of. The bottom 10 sides. And we'll have a bit more of a chat when it comes to the top 8 sides in our power rankings for round 18. So let's start. Who have you got for number 18?
Essendon, down from 12th in my last time.
I have them in 16th.
I do not 18.
That's really good. That's not the one I was still thinking of. That's really good, though. That's a good find, that one. Shout out Fancast. But I have West Coast in 18. Yeah. And it's just purely because, sure, you could make the argument that Essendon's loss was really bad. And I've got them pretty low. Yeah. 16 is pretty low. Yeah. But West Coast, they still have only one win. They have not won since round 18. You could argue that their play has gotten better, but round 18, still not won since round 12. Wait, no.
They've won in round...
When did they beat St Kilda?
Maybe 10.
Okay.
Ish.
Either way, West Coast 18. They haven't won for one win for this season. I don't see them. I just don't see a world where they aren't 18. And I want to say Essendon 18. Don't worry with that performance. Jesus. Yeah. But West Coast.
They're just in horrible form. Part of it's injuries, but
I would argue that they're actually in better form than they were in their previous rankings, despite the St Kilda win.
They were in some good form in their last.
They're still in some decent form.
Isn't you talking West
Maybe
Coast? Maybe
GWS. West Coast.
Okay, so West Coast are in better form.
West Coast are in better. Yeah, because West Coast, I think, have had some really strong, really surprisingly strong performances.
Yeah. I think I had them 17th last time.
They're going to get one more before we do our final power rankings. But 17, who have you got?
Richmond. The worst game in AFL history has got to have the 2 worst teams right now. So I've got them,
I put North Melbourne.
No, you can't have North Melbourne. Richmond's a 17 because they beat Essendon. That's the only reason they're above them.
Yeah, I guess so. I've put North Melbourne because lots of games that put them up. Not impressed. Lots of games that have put them up. They've then gone and lost to them, which have put them back down.
Yeah. 16, I have West Coast.
16, I have Essendon. I had mentioned that before.
I just think they're slightly better performances than the other teams.
Essendon, despite their ladder position, God.
So I can't believe you got Richmond, North Melbourne that low.
Yeah, really? Maybe it's just haterade from me.
They've had 2 wins in that stretch.
They have. That is true. They do still sit third last though, and Richmond are now 2 points off.
True. Carlton's my 15.
Speaking of, Richmond's my 15. Richmond, Essendon, both very low. I put Richmond above Essendon because they beat them. And, of course, because Essendon and Richmond have been so bad, they're both very low. So it's very funny that after that game, Richmond are 4th last somehow. You'd think they'd both be 17th, 18th for me. But I think based purely off of power rankings and previous games, not just the last game, they are far down there. Although Essendon's has been heavily influenced by that last game.
Carlton's last 4 weeks for me have just put them so low.
Yeah, fair enough.
14 St Kilda. Their last 5 all been in, but just haven't won any.
Yep.
So not the worst, but also haven't won a single game. So
I've put Carlton in 15th. Sorry, 14th. Because, same reasons for you. Their players been really poor.
Yep.
The North loss, the Collingwood loss, all those losses that are really notable have put them pretty far down. I think from last time we have done it at least. So, very disappointing stretch of play.
I'm very surprised you had North at 17 because I have them at 13.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got North at 13.
They've won 2 games in the last 6 weeks and have had some good performances. You think of the Fremantle game, I think they've had some good performances. We're in it with Bulldogs for 3 and a bit quarters. So I just think really good performances.
One of their wins, West Coast.
Yeah,
the other win, Carlton.
But they're above Carlton. So I don't see how they can't be above Carlton if they beat them in the last 6 weeks.
That is a fair call. For me, next up is St Kilda. I've put St Kilda there. Yeah, like you said, there's positives, but they just haven't gotten the results. Yeah. But maybe for you, they're the results you want because you want a good draft pick. So, look, good play. So many bright spots, I reckon, for this team. I think this offseason could be fantastic. It all relies on Naz signing.
Yeah, 100%.
But their offseason could be fantastic. It really could.
Yeah.
Next up for me, I'll put Melbourne.
Agreed. Beat North, so they've got to be above North.
Yep.
Had a couple good performances in there, but for my 11 team, I'll spoil it. Port Adelaide, they didn't beat Port Adelaide, so they can't be above Port Adelaide. But yeah,
beat spoiled it for me as well. I put Port Adelaide 11 too. So works out eventually. Yeah. A bit of mix up here, but we've gotten back on track. Port Adelaide, I think.
Couple good wins, couple good performances, but also had a couple losses in there as well.
Yeah, so we're hitting the middle of the pack territory here. So it's starting to get a bit easier to explain, I'd say.
From this position at number 10 to 4th position, I could not tell you who is who. I could not in my life say confidently this team is above this team because I just cannot grade them. Yeah. I do have the Western Bulldogs 10th though.
So do I.
Yeah. Okay.
This is very funny because I went through mine pretty quickly, but he really thought about his. So if we're the exact same.
Actually, yeah.
I know you are struggling with this, and we've gone the exact same number 10, but I know what your argument's going to be.
Yeah,
they beat Sydney.
Love that picture.
I haven't even noticed he's been going crazy with that. Oh, this is good. I know your argument is that Sydney lost to the Dogs very recently, so they should be below them. But I think Sydney's recent play, outside of that one loss, has been what's put them above the Dogs because the Dogs have had those continuous losses. I think Sydney's recent wins have also been more impressive.
So you have Sydney at 9?
I have Sydney at 9.
Yeah, okay.
I have Sydney at 9 because their wins have been more impressive, despite the Dogs beating the Swans, right? So I get where your problem was, and I heard you having that problem so much, the struggle. That is a really young photo. How did you fight that strange?
I think that's my photo that I took.
I am not quite... What, this one?
The screenshot, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I did not know you at that point. Oh, Jesus. So Sydney at 9 for me?
9th is Geelong.
Ooh.
This was one of the teams that I just really didn't know how to grade because they were deplorable against GWS. But, at the same time, they've had a couple good wins.
Yep.
And I just simply don't know how to grade them.
Yeah, it's fair. I wouldn't put them that low, though.
I don't trust them, is the way I'm saying. That's all.
You have had that problem with Geelong a lot over the year. And they've shown some signs of untrustworthiness. So the Brisbane loss and now the GWS loss, maybe it's just Queensland. Who knows? Maybe you just they don't want to see a Queensland team.
True.
Next up, number 8. We hit finals.
Hawthorn,
baby. We're 1 for 1 so far. I went Hawthorn because obviously their loss to Freo is something to consider. But a lot of interesting ones here and there. They had a big win against North, but that's not saying much. There are other games on top of that. Who have their last few been? I'm trying to remember. There's a reason I put them.
They played St Kilda last week. They played.
Yeah, Adelaide is the win.
Adelaide,
That was very
yeah,
interesting. And the
barely.
Dogs. So they're above the Dogs, but Adelaide is the one that you look at and go, ooh, maybe
Yeah.
that's... But that seems to be a blip on the radar for Adelaide. Hence why they're still so strong for me.
Yeah, agreed. Who did I have at 7? I had GWS at 7.
I had Geelong.
Mm-hmm.
So Geelong is still pretty low for me,
Yeah.
right? I'm only 2 spots off you, but out of the 8 is insane for me. I think Geelong has still put up some fantastic performances. Their best over the last 6 games has been so good. But you think Essendon, that's
Can't
not
grade that game.
That's not a game you can give them credit for.
They did lose
They have
to
lost
Brisbane.
to Brisbane, have lost to GWS now, so hence why they're very low in that top 8 form. But their form is still finals contention. Like, there's still some really, really decent stuff. Like, their win against the Suns has been in the last 5.
Yeah.
And we both have the Suns above them.
At the same time, that was Suns at their worst.
Yeah,
So
you could say
can
that,
make
yeah.
argument. Shit weather as well.
I guess so.
Jeez, outrageous photo for me.
Whoa. Oh, my
Got
God.
some updates there.
Oh, my goodness. He's not listening to what we're saying. He's
No,
just
he
having
doesn't
fun.
care. 6, I have Sydney.
6, I have Freo.
I think they are one of the most informed teams right now.
Absolutely.
They've had a really good block of form.
Shut up.
And I just think they're a really solid team at the moment. And I think I'd put them right now over GWS and over Geelong. I think they'd beat both these teams right now.
Oh, GWS is a stretch for me. I could not see them beating GWS. I could maybe see them beating Geelong on a good day. Freo, though, for me,
So
their
tough
form
to
has
grade.
been looking a lot better. There's been, of course, the think about the Sydney game. That's one that's going to come up a lot. But very, very close on that one. This one against Hawthorn was very strong. I think stronger than the scoreline suggests because, like you said, Hawthorn had a game plan towards the end that was just very unlike Hawthorn. And Freo were able to just pump them at those times. But then Hawthorn would come back with a bit of synced and linked up play that would keep them in it. So Freo's play, I think, was a lot better than the scoreline suggested. The questions always come in. Sarong needs to learn how to play a tag.
Yeah, well,
Sarong got shut down twice.
I've got
from a
Fremantle
tag.
5. Their clearance is arguably their best asset of their game. And through the first 3 quarters over the last few weeks, they've been really poor. They've turned it on in the last quarter, and it got them 2 wins in Hawthorn and St Kilda, but it wasn't able to get them over the line against Sydney. Can they fix that up to the point where they don't get smashed for 3 quarters?
Yeah. For me, 5 is GWS. They've been electric, is the best way I can put it. They've been such scintillating and exciting football. The win against Gold Coast was iconic. Their game against Geelong is a stamp. I think a lot of really, really positive signs in their topsy-turvy season. It feels like the last few games have really shown what their finals capability is, how good they've looked in finals because they just beat a top 4 team.
Yeah.
Are Geelong top 4 still?
Yeah, they're still
They're still in
third.
top. They're still in the top 4,
4th.
3rd or 4th, one of the two. But yeah, their best is very much double chance contention, and they could see a prelim, which honestly they should have seen last year if it wasn't for the collapse. Yeah. Who've you got 4?
4th, I've got Gold Coast.
I've got Gold Coast.
Yeah, I think the top 4 should be the same.
We'll find out.
Really good win, needed win against Collingwood
So needed.
to show that they are capable of being a top 5 team, top 6 team this year. Still got the game in hand. If they win that, they go up to 4th. So that's right where they're sitting in the power rankings for both of us. Backline still pretty strong. Sam Collins hasn't been there the last couple of weeks, and they've stood up, which is really good. Oscar Adams, no idea how he's still on the AFL list, but he is, and he's not been good, but, they've got the win. The forward line is starting to connect now. Walter and Reid are starting to work well alongside Ben King.
I liked Walter. Walter's one of those types who always creates a contest.
Always.
And then on the more positive side, he's been taking more marks, which is great for him. Ben King, he hasn't been as on as he was to start the season, but he's still effective enough.
Yeah.
And I think Reid is still a work in progress, but lots of positives. Of course, topped off by a win.
Speaking of key forwards, I've got Adelaide at my 3.
I've got Adelaide at my 3. Fantastic. Good signs.
Yeah, beat Bulldogs, probably their hardest challenge so far that they've succeeded in. Backline, really strong. They're just fighters, all of them back there. Josh Worrell stood up in the second half. I thought he could very well be on track to make my prediction come true.
The most improved. Josh Worrell was
Both
the
of
most
them.
improved and All-Australian, was he?
I said he was a smoky for All Australian.
Yeah.
So very well could pop off. But yeah, just getting it done right now. Collingwood at 2, not my number 1.
I've got Collingwood too as well.
So told ya.
I thought you'd have
Yep.
some kind of switch up there. I thought you maybe would have put Adelaide higher,
No.
but no, I can definitely see them going down one spot with the loss against Gold Coast because that's a team that was sitting ninth
I
at the
wouldn't-
time of that game,
yeah.
was it? No, they were 7th. Never mind.
I wouldn't even argue Collingwood went down. I'd argue Brisbane went up.
Yeah,
just think-
yeah, I'd argue that too. But I mean, there are still things to worry about now for Collingwood outside of form, injuries, and their older bodies are starting to see the, I guess, downsides
and
to their
tear.
age, the wear and tear, as you say. Jeremy Howe was one that's been mentioned before. The hope that Jordan De Goey comes back to fill out a role. But the positives, Josh Dacos as well. Oh my God, his fourth quarter.
Ridiculous.
Such a good fourth quarter from Josh Dacos.
Yeah.
But I think the other one to highlight is the game against West Coast. Very unexpected, but
Yeah.
you have been saying it all year. They're bound for a bad game. It did come, and here we are at round 18,
Yeah.
seeing probably their worst game.
Yeah, and Brisbane, number 1.
Brisbane for me, number 1 as well.
I've been on them all
It
year.
all started from their Geelong win,
Yes,
I think.
yes.
That game really showed, wow.
Yeah.
They aren't just a one-year fluke. They are
Yeah.
the team that they probably should have been all year last year. If it wasn't for their awful start, then this is the Brisbane we would have been like, so for the last 2 years, they've been dominating, not just a Cinderella run and going, do they have it again this year? Now they're showing why they are a premiership contender.
I'm calling it right now. Brisbane beat Collingwood in the grand final this year.
How do you feel about that, producer Ethan? Let us know.
Collingwood lose grand finals. It's what
I
they're
reckon
used to.
Collingwood go out straight sets. Collie wobbles kick in real hard, and they lose
I
to.
love it when Collingwood.
They
joke.
probably lose to Freo or something.
It's football's greatest joke.
Either way,
nah.
Brisbane topped the power rankings for
Yes.
both of us.
Yes.
I think we had Collingwood and Geelong first and second last time, so
I'll
that
check who
is
I
a
had.
difference.
I had Collingwood and Adelaide too.
Interesting. All right, we're going to zoom through this quickly to get through the show. But Bombers versus Giants, I've just said forfeit the game. If Essendon is smart.
So bad.
I've said it a few times now. 100-point win needs to come around somewhere. We've been close. Essendon has been the closest at 96. This has to be something. With GWS's form, it would just be so GWS, though, to ruin it. Ruin their chances this week.
They smacked them a couple years ago, I remember. Like, absolutely torched
Oh,
them in
yeah.
the second
Yeah,
last
yeah,
game
yeah.
of the round. Very much PTSD this could be.
Except this time at Marvel.
Yeah, deja vu. But if this isn't a 60-point game, it's a bad win for the Giants, basically.
Hogan, Green, or Cadman to kick 10 is my big goal. My big call.
Wouldn't
I'm
be
going
surprised if they all kicked 10.
Giants by 110.
I'll go Giants by 99. Still no 100-point game.
Brisbane and the Dogs. It's another test. It's another big test. If you want to play finals football, Western Bulldogs, and show us why so many people think you're a smoky team, then you must win this game.
Yeah.
This is the most informed team in both of our opinions. So the only thing is this weird Gabba downplaying thing that they've been doing this year. They have downplayed it a bit at the Gabba sometimes.
Yeah.
So do they do it this time around, or do they stick strong?
They stick strong. I think the Lions just not necessarily roll them, but when you're speaking about this back line against this Lions forward line, I just don't see them being able to stop it.
My thinking is, right, we think that the matchups for the Dogs backline is more of a bad thing against a tall tall forward line, right? Or is we talking just in general?
Part of it's in general, but at the same time, Lions are
The
playing.
only main tall forward, maybe you could argue Cam Rayner's a medium to tall forward.
They're playing two rucks right now. So Fort, Hipwood, and then Morris, and then you got Rayner. You got to stop as well. It's not just Hipwood and Morris. They're playing an extra tall.
Okay. I'm still going Lions despite
Agreed.
that little question, but I think it's going to be a 10-point win to Brisbane.
I'm going Lions by 21. I think it's not a close game, but I think they keep him at arm's length for a lot of it.
Yep. Hawthorn versus Port Adelaide. This is going to be fun. This is a fiery matchup. This is an underrated rivalry, it feels like.
Yes.
But this would prime your position for the final month of the season. and it put you in the driver's seat for a home elimination final. Because looking at the ladder, I think Geelong and Adelaide still hold those double chance spots very firmly. But if they can get a home elimination final, that's fantastic for them. And then Port Adelaide, again, this kind of rivalry game could be exactly what they need to keep their season on life support. If they lose it, the plug's pulled.
It's not at home, so they don't have that home crowd factor. They weren't that good.
The home crowd factor didn't mean much against West Coast.
I get that, but they weren't very good against West Coast.
Yeah.
So I also think this is the week where, with the extra tall forward line, I'm hoping Hawthorn go with. They're able to do it. There's going to be no Rosie as well, so it's literally just going to be Butters and Horn Francis.
I think it is a plug. There goes your season for Port Adelaide.
Yep.
Thank you, Ken Hinkley. Surprisingly positive season for Ken Hinkley, honestly, despite the results. Everyone's loved him this year. But Hawthorn, I think, win this one by 35.
Ain't no way we've got the exact same. I've got Hawks by 35 as well.
I'm going Hawthorn by 36.
Okay.
All right, next we've got Sydney versus North. I've just said probably could give a 50% effort and still pull out a 5-goal win. Xerri presumably out, meaning that it's Brodie Grundy feasting on North Melbourne. Who do they put in? Can they bring
Callum Coleman-Jones?
Taylor Goad?
Callum Coleman-Jones.
You reckon?
It was a laid out on the weekend, wasn't he?
I can't remember if he was.
I think he was.
God, even then.
Swans by 61.
I'm saying Swans by 75. I'm just very tired of having my heart broken.
Is LDU back?
Could be.
Is Larky back?
Maybe. There's a lot of maybes with this team. It's definitely not the greatest timing for injuries.
Yeah.
But, I just wish they were more competitive against these teams, man. Sydney beating them by as much as they did, maybe they do a Carlton and somehow pull off a win. Who knows?
Surely not.
I don't think so. Carlton versus Melbourne, funny enough, we talk about next.
Really weird game, this one.
Yeah, I feel like this is a bit of an opportunity for Carlton.
This is a 50-50 game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way.
Who has more hope? Well, that's an easy answer.
D's.
D's 100%. But I've just said if you can quash them early, there's your win. You've got it. If you give them a sniff, it's a bit tough from there. Then the 50-50 really kicks in, and then the chance for Carlton comes in.
This needs to be a Charlie Kerner game. He's been really poor the last few weeks. The only way Carlton get this done is if he kicks 5.
Yep.
The only way.
Is it?
I think he does.
Is it possible?
I think he does.
Carlton win, you're saying?
I think they do. I think they get it done by 13 points. I think this is an opportunity for them. The last few weeks, it's been really tough games. It has. It's been Collingwood, it's been Brisbane, it's been Port over in Adelaide. Not been the easiest tasks. This is an opportunity for them to get a win, get some hope into their fan base.
Yes. I'm going to go Melbourne because I think they play with a lot more belief.
Yeah.
And they also I hate to use the lazy trope, but it looks like they just give more effort. I think when Carlton go down and Carlton aren't playing the way they should be, then they really start to drop off, like more than any team I've seen this year. So I think Melbourne, they just need to put a bit of a 4 or 5 goal lead, and I think they'll do it. I think they'll really crush them. But I'm going to go Melbourne by 30 points.
Understandable. I couldn't blame you at all.
This one's interesting as well. West Coast Richmond.
Game of the week.
Game of the week. Game of the round, boys.
King of the castle. King of the castle.
Shut up. I think this is the biggest chance so far to get your second win of the season.
Easily.
And you're very, very lucky this isn't your first attempt at a win this season. Obviously.
The pressure's off.
Your attempt at a first win. Because losing to Richmond should have been your big warning signs. That win against St Kilda was so lucky for them. There would be so much pressure on this team to win if they hadn't have won that one. So, a lot less pressure, much better form than I think they were.
Still need to win it.
Yes, of course, they do still need to win it. But Richmond are so banged up. Of course, suspensions too that you've got to bring into it. I think this is going to be a West Coast win.
Yay.
By 33.
33. I'm going Eagles by 22. I just think they've got some solid tools. Both sides do. I think Harley Reid's building slowly. He had a really good game, 27 and a goal. So he's starting to get that base, which is really important for him. And I think some of the signs for the Eagles Smalls with a home crowd as well, really promising. Get it done by 22.
Geelong versus St Kilda. I've said here, Geelong need a big statement win to hold off a surging Saints unit on home turf. Because...
Poet right there.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with my words. I don't speak good. Geelong, however,
Tasmanian there.
I know, I'm doing a bit of Tasmanian. Look at me go. But Geelong, I don't think it's going to be as easy as a lot of people expect it. Obviously, you think back to last time they played at Marvel, Saints picked them off. Correct. So it'll be interesting to see how the young guns they've got in the lineup now match up with this Geelong side on Geelong's home turf this time. It'd be awesome to see them pull off a win. I think there's a slim hope it happens, but for your sake, I'm going to say Geelong win. Yay. So your draft pick continues to improve.
Yay.
And they are going to win by 25.
I like it. We'll push them. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because we have shown we've got a lot of fight still left in us.
Yep.
I still hope we go tall, continue to persist with Moose in the forward line, who is the original Moose, not Finbar O'Malley like a lot of North fans think. They were very pissy that we were calling Max Heath Moose.
Really?
Yeah, they were very pissy. Max Heath has been in the AFL since 2021. He is the Moose, not Finbar. Cats get it done
Finbar
by 40.
plays like a Moose, though, to be fair. He's a bit of a moose.
Do.
Yeah, they both do.
He hasn't concussed someone in his first game, has he?
I can share it. Collingwood versus Fremantle. Now, this is an exciting one as well. A top 8 matchup. It would be nice to grab a bounce-back win, Collingwood, and just kind of reaffirm their top-notch form again.
Yep.
But, of course, you've got the questions. And if Fremantle win here, they've got... I mean, they
top
get
four.
my respect.
Top four.
Top four is a actual thought, and that's crazy to think because just a week ago we're like they're in the back seat for being 9th place. Yep. Not that anymore, but they've got one of the tougher roads now out of the final 8 in the run home. I know a lot of the top 8 sides and top 9 sides play each other a lot, except Geelong. Geelong, I think, had their only top 9 game last week. They lost.
They do have Sydney in like the second last week.
They've got Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah, but aside from that.
But other than that, they look pretty safe. But Fremantle would be nice to see them pick up this one. I think this is a great time to do it. Despite it being at the MCG, it's going to be a tough one, but they could do it. They could do it. And for the sake of fun, for the sake of enjoyment of the season that seems to have been lacking, I'm going to go Freo pick it off by 4 points.
Huge week for Darcy Cameron. If he's been a top 5 ruck, he can get on top of these two and get the win. I think that defensively without Jeremy Howe, there might be some struggles, but I still think they're the better team. It's at the MCG.
Their structure works so well for Collingwood, so it could go.
The Pies get this done by 27 points. I think they're still a lot better than Fremantle right now.
Yeah, and then potential game of the round here.
Yeah,
it's a tough runner-up to Richmond versus West Coast, we know, but Adelaide versus Gold Coast here would be a fantastic scalp here if they can pick this one off for Adelaide specifically. I think because of how the last meeting between these two ended, this could be fiery.
I need to check it. Am I working on Sunday?
2 fantastic games here this week in terms of rivalries with Hawthorn Port and Adelaide Gold Coast. Underrated rivalries this week. So much excitement. And a win here could see them take Adelaide's place in the top 4 for Gold Coast. I don't know if it happens this week, but it would prime them for that spot. And it'd be, how much would that annoy Adelaide if it took that spot? So there's a lot on the line with this game.
Heaps.
So much, and I'm so excited to watch it. I'm going to do what I can to watch it. I think I'm going to be able to, but I'll do whatever I can. I'll do whatever I can, man.
If Sam Collins returns, I see the upset here. And I'm going the Suns because I just want the fire. And I think the Suns could very well, with this midfield, the form they are in, what they showed last week, I think they can get it done, and I'll go the Suns by 9. Ridiculously good game, though.
I think it's going to be a loud 50K plus at Adelaide Oval that help Adelaide get across the line in a 1-point thriller. It has to be, right? It has to be. Has to be. It was like 2 points last time between these guys.
Yeah.
It just has to be.
It was 3 points, 97-94.
There you go. So I'm so keen for that one. I'm so keen for round 19. I hope you guys enjoyed Zero Access Footy, episode 21. So thank you all so much for tuning in to the episode. Again, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms, whatever it may be. But I appreciate you once again for tuning in. Thank you once again, Behm, for co-hosting alongside me. And we will see you again next time for Zero Access Footy.